Almost Human brought cinematic production value to television with their work on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and the Sarah Connor Chronicles. On the big screen, they created the effects for the remake of Romero's The Crazies and Paranormal Activity 3 and 4, among countless horror and creature features. Already accomplished as a makeup artist, Almost Human founder Robert Hall directed features as diverse as the drama Lightning Bug and the slasher epic Laid to Rest. Rob Hall has earned his reputation as a contemporary virtuoso of blood and guts. Stop drinking 72-ounce sodas.
Yeah. So this was a really cool movie we did a couple years ago, directed by J.T. Petty, called The Burrowers. They're these sick creatures that live underground. This was a Western, believe it or not. It was like Deadwood meets Alien. It was pretty insane. And we did about 90% of the creatures rubber in camera. We blew off Seth Rogen's ear in Pineapple Express. So
That's the most serious you'll ever see Seth Rogen's face right there.
yeah.
It's like,
That's Clancy Brown. He got.
that's Clancy Brown.
Yeah, he got
Fuckstick.
Yeah. These are a couple of smashing heads that we did for a movie called Quarantine. One of the zombies gets killed with the camera in her face. We were pushing these in, and we did a little blend between several different heads and a makeup. Every one of these parts are individually milled out in resin. And then they come to us, and we still have to sand them all. We have to get them ready for molding. We had to make thousands of molds for like every little piston. Everything was completely separate. So to do this on a TV schedule, everyone thought I was nuts, and no one thought we were going to be able to do it. But I'm sort of overly ambitious that way, and plus I wanted the Terminator for my office.
That's so badass.
Why
It's
wouldn't you?
ridiculous.
This is the first corpse that you see in the first Laid to Rest movie, and you know we spent a lot of time trying to make it very detailed. And if you look at, and a lot of these sick fucks watching this probably have, if you look at real deaths and real bodies and stuff online and Rotten.com and stuff, sometimes the body in death does such ridiculous shit, not only from trauma but just from natural causes. There's almost like a weird happy medium when you're doing this stuff of medically accurate and cinematically expected.
Keep waiting for our eyes to open.
Yeah? Well, I keep waiting for this to open. Anatomically correct. I'm not really sure,
That's
but
commitment to detail right there, boys and girls.
you know, the Laid to Rest movies, they're sort of me going back to that concept in the 80s of how the fuck did they do that? Chrome Skull, he's got a sick knives, which are called the Sharks, and he videotapes all his murders, and he's a sick, sick, sick fuck. I made him with friends and with a really small budget, but I think we're, you know, we tapped into something that people are responding to.
Cool.
And the coolest thing ever, here, pause, let me show you something. Issue number 282, and I'll be honest with you, and I'm not just saying this. This is one of the highlights of my life. I love this. I got a giant erection from this. This guy was Bokeem Woodbine, who got his neck twisted around backwards in the elevator in a movie called Devil.
Oh, the elevator movie.
The elevator movie,
Yes.
yeah. So pretty much that movie was like 5 people contained in an elevator, and they die one by one. And so every time someone dies in that movie, it is replaced by an almost human prosthetic likeness of them. And then there's that guy.
Frankenfish.
Frankenfish. Yeah, everybody knows Frankenfish for some strange reason. He's much beloved, but it was a pretty big monster.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. A real creature, that's a monster. No CGI, I mean, that's just a big, real monster right there.
Which was used a little bit. There was a digital version of it.
Oh, you know, fuck CG. It's just, practical blows it away.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Yes.
And there is, actually speaking of that, there's something you know, on the shelf that you should take a look at.
Here?
Yeah.
I don't, where?
Well, just lean in a little closer and.
I don't see anything.
Well, just look up a little bit at the end of that table over there, and put your head through the shelf and take a little look.
What is this? Something you're just gonna CG in later? Like
No. Just look a little higher. Just look that way, a little higher, and push your head in a little bit more. Okay. And you see it yet?
I don't see anything.
Good.
Taking half of his head off. So.
That is epic.
So what we did with your head is basically the same shot we did for the first Laid to Rest movie. Right here we've got Jonathan check. Jonathan in the prosthetic here. Me applying the prosthetic. Jonathan with the entire knife through there. Also, there's a little chunk of the knife in his mouth too, so it looks like it's gone all the way through.
Right.
The fake head that we did. Yeah, the fake head test. We did this here in the shop.
I love that.
And then the final comp with the fake head right here. And that part, totally practical.
I don't remember that in that thing you do. It's like the Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power album cover, but with a knife instead of a fist.
And of course now we've got our VFX breakdown here. Jonathan just doing his scene with nothing going on. He probably only did about 10 takes of that too. I mean, he got it, and then, you know, we brought him back in, and right there you can kind of see, if you frame it back, you can kind of see there's a little bit of his size of his head changes a tiny bit, but you never notice it
Right.
during the flow. And then the digital knife, when it comes in, kind of covers it up too. On the same concept, but different and way more over the top. So this is what happens to her in the second laid to rest.
It was this CGI with practical. They put the blades in my mouth, and it actually did hurt because they kept doing it. This was one of the things that they had to keep, you know, doing over. It was only the top, these two pieces, and somebody was actually holding it underneath. And then for, you know, the visual effects, they threw in the whole thing. But they were stretching it open, and it was killing me.
This is where we put the prosthetic on him. And this is kind of the second interval of the whole effect. The first one being a clean plate, and then the second one is when you go into the prosthetic. And then the third element is actually going to be when we put it here into the computer, we'll go in and we'll composite the practical elements of your face and whatnot onto a fake head and vice versa.
And 3, 2, 1, wham. Oh, CGI rules, bitch.
Since we don't have your actual head here.
Right.
Or we did comp our elements onto your head. But during that cut right there, there's also a morph. So it goes from clean him with nothing on to, during that little flip of his head, he has a prosthetic that gets morphed on.
Right.
And then we added the little digital VFX on it. Mostly it's practical. It's just, you know, we've kind of married them together a little bit with some of this digital magic.
Right. Horror movie fans, there's been an outcry the last few years that basically CGI sucks. Fuck CGI. You are a professional makeup artist, correct?
Some would say. To say that the advent of CGI technology, especially in particular with creatures, has not hurt the rubber-making creature industry would be complete bullshit. It has. I think when people say, fuck CGI, I don't even think they know what that means. Now, if
I think, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go.
The obvious, like, blood splats from gunshots, and it just looks like, I mean, it just couldn't look faker. I mean, and that's just on a small scale.
What people should be saying is fuck lazy CGI. I agree, fuck CGI when there's a big cartoony looking monster running through a $50 million movie that didn't need to be there. And I think that a lot of the directors nowadays today, there's a few exceptions, but a lot of the guys don't know how to shoot effects. And unfortunately, they don't care. They just feel like they'll solve the problem with money in post later. You're doing a movie and someone goes, let's put the monster in later. Let's like you said, let's put the blood in later. Let's do the...
Right.
It's a little bit lazy. You know, so when
It's cheaper to do it that way.
Not always.
Really?
Not always, you know. You do spend a little less time with, like, especially gags. Blood gags can go wrong, everybody knows. Most of the projects that we're doing now, most people want to get as much in camera as possible, and then they love it when they hear me say, guess what? And I can take it that extra mile with digitals. You know, I get with my team in here and we say, how much of this should we do practical? Where's the limit that we have to stop and digitally augment things? I mean, I think anyone will tell you that actually knows a little bit about our industry that it always works the best when you have a combination.
So you hear that, boys and girls? Don't say fuck CGI, say fuck lazy people. So after this, with face replacement, can you put John Hamm's face on my face?
Absolutely. John
I
Hamm,
would
Joan
love that.
Rivers, whoever you want.
No, just John Hamm.
Okay.
Coming this winter, all new episodes of Blood and Guts.